Hello, everybody. This is Sri from BizBuzz. What matters the most in your business? Sponsored by My Work Belt. My Work Belt is a business operating system, particularly catering to service based small businesses. If you are a small business owner or a small business leader with anywhere about 10 employees to 25 employees and providing services such as roofing, HVAC, consulting, or any other service based businesses, I would highly recommend you to take a look at www.myworkbelt.com. And today I have a great guest and great business leader and author, David Fradin. And David has been a majorly product designer and trained by HP product manager and was recruited by Apple. We all know Apple is, and he was a business unit manager, which is very similar job as Steve Jobs at that beginnings. And then he being an author, wrote multiple books, and one of them is building insanely great product, and another one is organizing and managing insanely great product. And they are all available on Amazon if you are interested to take a look at it. And Dave, how are you doing today? How are
I'm
you
doing,
doing?
I'm doing good.
Excellent, David. Thank you very much for giving me time and being a guest on the podcast today. I am really, really looking forward to picking your brain and getting the knowledge shared with the rest of the business community here in US and in the world. And David, you have come from large corporations background. You have been an author. So first thing I wanted to ask you, what have you learned from large enterprises that can be boiled down and bring it into the small business community that they can use and be able to survive and thrive?
Well, I've summarized those in what I call the five keys to product success. And it's also true for business success because a business
Okay,
usually consists of products and or services. A service is a product. It's just intangible compared to a product that is tangible.
tangible.
Five keys to product success is a mnemonic used for my company's name, Spice Catalyst, for the word
Mm-hmm.
spice, where the S
Mm,
stands for a product market strategy, the P stands for repeatable processes, the I stands for having the information necessary to make an informed decision, the C is understanding your customer, what it is they want to do, when they want to do it, where they want to do it, how they want to do it, what's standing in their way, how important is it to get done, and how satisfied are they with the current way of doing things. And lastly, the E is the 130 skill sets I've identified that an organization has to have either within their employees or between their employees and their consultants in order to be successful. So I've
oh,
learned
that's great. Go
I've
ahead.
worked in large enterprise organizations, and I've also been associated with small organizations and with startups. Is that they typically fail. About 35% of all new products introduced each year fail, which represents a waste of about $1 trillion a year. And it's because one
Wow.
or more of those five keys to success are not implemented appropriately.
No, that's great. That's great. Thank you very much. Five keys to success. And that is a wonderful concept and easy to remember. Now, when you are working with large corporations, um, are they coming to the same five keys or is there more to it compared to the small businesses?
No, it's the same five keys. The most important one is the product market strategy, which covers such things as understanding what it is your customer wants to do, the problem scenarios that your product or service resolves, your
Mm-hmm.
market research, your competitive research, your insights into the perfect storm and technology changes that
Mm-hmm.
uh, happen over the next 5 to 10 years. All of that lets you refine it down to the target persona, which you can then build up to your market, the size of the market you're going after, your target market, and your approachable or able to reach market for total appraised market. And that gives you the value proposition either for your business as a whole and or for each individual product, which enables you to position yourself in the marketplace and then bring to bear innovation, which is doing things faster, better, higher quality at lower cost, and then the rest of the
Absolutely.
product market strategy.
See, generally, when you are in the boardrooms or large companies, you can talk big market strategies and personas and all those things. When it comes to the small businesses, strategy means what, at least my understanding, strategy means for them is, oh, we have to do the Facebook marketing or email marketing or all those things. That's what the strategy means. Can you demystify what that marketing strategy means for a small business?
Well, what I'm talking about is a market strategy. A market is a place you go to buy someplace, buy
Right.
something, like a
Buy
grocery
something.
store. Marketing is to get your target customer to go to that store and buy. So
Okay.
the product market strategy is the things that I mentioned earlier, which includes your pricing strategy. And then you can take the personas and the value proposition and turn that into your messaging, which is then later done when you introduce the product, release the product, and market the product, do the
Mm,
marketing product. But many companies and individuals skip the product market strategy. That is a strategy for the product in the market. And product means, or strategy is interchangeable with the word plan. A
mm,
plan, strategy, and strategy is a plan.
I
Uh,
see.
and if you fail to have that product market strategy, your chances for failure increases to as much as 85% of the time, as opposed to 35% or less.
So I'm taking that in your five keys for success of a business or a product or a service, right? Now you are seem to be emphasizing more on marketing. Why so?
No more on market understanding.
More on market. Why so?
Because once you have your product market strategy together, then you can do your social media strategy. You can do your advertising and PR strategy. You can do your promotions, your packaging, your bundling. You can do
Hmm.
your advertising plan, your sales plan. You can identify then your distribution channels and recruit them. All of that is based on the foundation of the product market strategy.
Mm, so that market strategy is the foundation uh, for the business success. Am I getting
Exactly.
it right? Right.
Exactly.
Now, other than that, what is the second most important factor that you would recommend that a small business owner should be looking at?
It's understanding the prospective customer, what it is
Okay.
that they want to do, when they want to do it, and so forth.
Hmm.
And
Tell me a
failure,
little bit more.
failure to understand the customer will result in product and small business failure. And what you're searching for is about 15 unmet needs, 15 things that your prospective customer wants to do that they're not currently doing well or they're not satisfied with the way that they're getting it done. If you
Hmm.
find 15 unmet needs, then the window of opportunity for your product or service is opened up. And then later, if you find other products filling those same 15 unmet needs, then you know your window of opportunity has closed and you need to turn into no longer investing in developing the product, but turning it into what the Boston Consulting Group calls a cash cow.
Oh, I see. No, that's great. Thank you. So, when you say 15 different parameters to define your prospect or your customer, right? What are the top three that you suggest that needed to be really, really pinned down in order for going into the next step?
Well, it's going to differ based upon the market, the product,
Uh,
and the customer. So there's no top three.
no
It's
top three.
it's the who, what, when, why, how, importance, and how satisfied they currently are, and what
Mm,
barriers are there to get through.
I see. So, if I summarize it here with what you're describing, foundation for any business success is having a market strategy. And
Correct.
once you have a market strategy, then you can build on marketing, social media marketing strategy, sales strategy, and all other sub strategies, so to speak. And market strategy is a fundamental in the five keys for a business success, whether it's a product business or a service business that you are
Exactly.
describing. And those five keys, what you are calling as spice, that's really spicy,
Yes.
right? And the second point that you're also suggesting that the most important element, second most important element is the customer. Now, how do you identify that customer is 15 different factors, when, where, how, what they are doing, and what their pain points are? Once you define 15 different factors that defines your customer, and then you can put all the rest of the strategies together to attract that customer, as you just mentioned, that to the market and where you can offer your product or service to that customer.
The first thing you do is you observe what's going on, like a social anthropologist. And you can't ask your prospective customer, what is it you want or need, because they don't know. That requires them to not only define the problem, but also identify a solution. So,
Right.
for example, Henry Ford did not observe what people were doing, so he went out on the streets of Dearborn, Michigan, not far from where I grew up in
You
Detroit,
are right.
and he asked people if they wanted a car. And they had no idea what a car is.
Right.
And people said, "No, I want a faster horse." Well,
Yeah.
if he had sat on one of the stoops of the saloons in Dearborn at the time with a mug of beer in his hand, he would have noticed people beating their horses with sticks to get through town faster.
I
Uh,
see.
then after you observe, then you interview 40 to 80 prospective customers. From that, you gain insight into what it is that they want to do. And plus,
Right.
it helps you define the persona that you want to target for your product or for your service. Then third, you do a survey of 800 to 1,200 people or companies that are in your target market area
Yes.
based upon your targeting. And then if you're lucky and have big data that you can then analyze, then you utilize big data and analytics. But the problem with analytics is twofold. One is if, for example, the internet existed when Henry Ford over 100 years ago was researching his Model T prospects for an
Right.
automobile. He would have searched for how many people are searching for car or automobile on the internet and found that nobody was doing that. So
Nobody was doing
therefore,
that. Right.
there's no demand for a car or an automobile.
He would
So
have completely stopped the whole industry.
yeah, exactly. So that's one of the problems of getting all of your information from big data or through analytics, or for that matter, from artificial intelligence, which is built on the same thing, uh,
Right.
on the same data. Um,
Excellent.
so that's what needs to be done. And another problem with analytics is it's usually based upon algorithms of people who like this, people who bought this, people who bought this product, also bought that product. These are the kinds of recommendations that you get from Amazon and from Netflix and from Google and so forth. And
That's all actually a big language talked by the marketing folks and confuse the heck out of the small businesses, right?
exactly,
And we need to help the small businesses here to not to fall into the noise and be confused and scared of doing anything. So, what you are bringing to the table here is a wonderful topic that observe, understand the customer needs before even you ask them if they want your product or service. And that's a very powerful statement. With that, thank you very much for joining us on this call and sharing your knowledge and expertise. And I've learned a lot, and I am hoping that audience here is taking that basics into the practices and be able to survive and thrive. If you're a small business owner, I hope you enjoy this topic and make sure you recommend our channel to rest of your business friends. Great. Thank you very much, David, for joining us. Greatly appreciate your time.
thanks for having me.